Hey, everybody. Hello.
Hello.
We're gonna keep admitting people. I am Kim Andrews. I am working with the Chester County Community Foundation and the Friends of Chester County America 250. I'm a consultant. But I'm working to help put together what's going on in Phoenixville to facilitate gathering everybody together and coming up with a great year for next year. I worked in Chester County for a couple of years. I was the executive director of the Fund for Women and Girls, and I worked mostly in culture and heritage most of my adult life and nonprofits, but I've done some social services too. And I was fortunate enough to talk to PARN this morning, the Phoenixville Network for Nonprofits. So that was a great, I was trying to recruit people to show up for this meeting here. So we'll see how many people come in here today on our first meeting. We'll give them all another minute or two to come in. All righty. So, hey, everybody, as I just said, I'm Kim Andrews. I'm working with the Chester County Community Foundation to gather together on behalf of Friends of Chester County America 250 to gather together all the folks in Phoenixville who might be interested in putting programming together, partnering with each other, and celebrating America 250 next year in 2026. As I'm sure you all know, we're going to be celebrating the 250th anniversary of the United States on July 4th in 2026. The planning is happening now on the federal level, the state level, the local level, which is us. And we're kind of looking at the theme of we the people, all of us all together, and how we can work together to really re-engage civic engagement, re-engage people civically, I should say, and that we can highlight the heritage of Chester County in particular, Phoenixville in this case. Let's see, in 2021, the Chester County Commissioners, they put together the Chester County America 250 Pennsylvania Commission. So they've been meeting since 2021. And then Chester County Community Foundation has been pulling together as the Friends group essentially to gather people together. We've got a bunch of hyper-local convenings going on across the county. So if you know people who do not live in Phoenixville but are interested in participating, whether they're as an organization, individual, business, we also have these monthly regional meetings on Zoom for Chester Springs, Coatesville, Southern Chesco, Malvern, Paoli, Tredyffrin and Easttown, and then Westchester, Exton, and Downingtown. So we've got lots going on trying to get each area to come up with its own ways of commemorating the 250th anniversary. We are going to be meeting on the fourth Tuesday of the month at 3 p.m., which is right now. And I'm glad that you are all here today. We do not have to, you guys don't have to attend every single meeting by any stretch. This is an opportunity for us to gather together and share ideas, to talk about maybe what other areas are doing, what each of your organizations, businesses, or each of you are doing for this, to figure out ways to partner and to to make sure that we have opportunities to promote the work that we're doing too. So America 250 in Chester County, we're kind of doing that a couple ways. Well, first I want to introduce, we have some of our co-conveners here. So in each area, we try to make sure that we get some folks who are really excited about this process and ready to put themselves out in front. So I want to thank Tamala Luce for being here, a co-convener. Mayor Pete is here, and John Keenan, who now I see you in that box there. Other co-conveners are Barbara Cohen. I don't want to mess this up. Ginger Murphy, also of the Historical Society, and then Michelle Kickline, who's the chair of the entire commission, is considered ex officio on all of our committees. So thank you to our co-conveners for being here. And I'm going to be poking at everybody to see what ideas we have in a little bit. First, I just wanted to go through some slides to, first of all, hello, everybody. Sorry, I tend to talk endlessly. So if you have any interruption, please, you can either raise your little figurative hand or feel free to interrupt me, as I try to tell everybody in my life, feel free to interrupt me. First, actually, why don't we go around and say hi, and everybody can introduce themselves. So I'm just going to popcorn to the folks that I see in the order that I see. So John, you are right below me in the little box. Could you introduce yourself?
Sure. I'm John Keenan. I'm the president of the Historical Society, and as far as we have a number of things planned, we just opened our museum on the
Mhm.
14th, so that was a big thing. We had 525 people on opening day, so that was exciting. We do have a small exhibit of the Revolutionary War in the museum now, but we are planning a America 250 program, and Bobby Riley, one of our members, is a DAR representative, and she's spearheading the exhibit.
Awesome.
That's what we have at this point.
Awesome. Awesome. Well, it'll be great for all of us to hear about what's going on and share what each organization is doing.
Sure.
Thanks, John. Lara, could you introduce yourself, please?
Yeah, hi. I'm Laura Kennedy. I'm the Advancement Manager at Founding Forward, formerly Freedom's Foundation at Valley Forge. If you don't know us, we are the really enormous flag on Route 23. Um, Adam's our neighbor. Um, so we are a civic engagement nonprofit organization. We do civic education programs for students, teachers, and the community. And we have a few things cooking for 250 program-wise and event-wise. We are working on a pretty large Chapters and Partners Conference for September of 2026. That will bring our chapters and partners from all over the country here to Valley Forge and to our other location in Philadelphia. And I am excited and eager to partner with anybody more locally to do some local events as well. We have a very large campus, 75 acres. We have a lot of event space. If you've driven by recently, you've seen that we are redeveloping the campus. So I'm very happy to host everybody and to give you a tour and to tell you about our plans if you'd like to come and visit.
That's awesome. That's very generous. Thanks, Lara. Brad, could you introduce yourself, please?
Hello, I'm Brad, Brad Seltzer. My wife is Vanessa Starr. She works at Healthcare Access in Phoenixville, and I received a text message this morning to look at my email, and that I should attend this. I teach at Springford High School. I teach AP U.S. History and AP Government. I'm currently working on a graduate degree with Gettysburg College in American History. And I'm a member of the Historical Society of the Phoenixville area as of recent, as well as just about every historical society around here, and the White House Historical Association, Supreme Court Historical, you name it. I've got all the little membership cards. So I'm just here to just kind of listen and see if there's anything I might be able to offer.
Oh, Brad, I'm so glad you're here. Vanessa said she was going to text you, so.
Yep, she did.
I'm so glad you're here. That's awesome.
Thank you.
Debbie, could you introduce yourself, please?
Sure. Hi, I'm Deb McGinn. I'm with Phoenixville Area Community Services, or many know us as PACS. We're a nonprofit food center helping approximately 15,000 people a month who are struggling with food insecurity. And we've been in the area for more than 53 years, or almost 53 years, I should say. So I was at the PARN meeting this morning. So I heard this, and it's more of a fact finding to see, what PACS can do and be part of this. And I know quite a few people that are, in this meeting today. So I'm excited to hear plans or ideas and then pass them along to our staff members and see what we can do to be part of this.
Awesome, Debbie, thank you. And what a difficult time to be in food distribution right now. So thank you for all the work you do.
You're welcome. We're rallying.
Melinda, could you please introduce yourself?
Sure. Hi, I'm Melinda Izza with Orion Communities. I do community engagement, and among other things, there at Orion. We are a nonprofit that meets the unmet needs of our most vulnerable neighbors. And happy to be here today, and then like Debbie, also doing fact finding and just seeing how Orion can be involved in this celebration.
Awesome. We have a great location right there, so.
Yes, we do.
Thank you. Ranger Adam.
Hi, everybody. I'm Ranger Adam Gressick. I'm the Director of Visitor and Community Engagement for Valley Forge National Historical Park. So, part of the park is in Phoenixville, and we're looking to the Valley Forge. Not only is it the 250th anniversary of the founding of the United States and the Declaration of Independence in 2026, it's also the 50th anniversary of Valley Forge becoming a national park. So, we're kind of, in the Park Service, we're letting Philadelphia have all the glory when it comes to the Declaration of Independence because that's their thing. So we're really going hard after it being our 50th anniversary at Valley Forge, and sort of the centerpiece of our July 4th event. All of our July 4th happenings is going to be we're recreating essentially the rally that was put on by Anna Morris Holstein in 1878 to help save Washington's headquarters, because that was the first major action to preserve any part of the park for the future. So that's a big deal to us. We're also combining it with thank you to the Commonwealth, as Valley Forge was also Pennsylvania's first state park, which was then made federal, and we're also giving visitors an opportunity to sign a giant birthday card. We're looking at, if anybody happens to know a Gerald Ford impersonator, please let me know, because we're trying to do something around Gerald Ford signing the park into existence. We're also shooting a cannon, so fun times.
Oh my gosh, that is awesome. That is so cool. I had forgotten that Valley Forge Park didn't become a national park until the bicentennial.
Yep, we are the only park created on 4th of July, and it happens to be 4th of July, 1976. So.
Woo, that is awesome. Thank you. Tamala, could you introduce yourself, please?
Hey everybody, Tamala Luce with the Phoenixville Community Health Foundation, and our foundation's been around for nearly 30 years, and we support a lot of the nonprofits in the area, like PAX and Orion and others, Healthcare Access as well, who provide health and human services to the residents of the greater Phoenixville region. And Mayor Pete and I have been talking about all kinds of stuff. There's always, as folks on this call know, there's always stuff that's going on in Phoenixville all the time, and so I think there's no shortage of opportunities to really celebrate America 250 in the Phoenixville area. And I'm really glad that Brad shared his story, because I volunteer my husband to do lots of stuff too, so you're not alone.
Thanks, Tamala. JD, could you introduce yourself, please?
Yes, hi everyone. My name is JD Maloney. I am with Troop 58 here in Phoenixville. Troop 58 is one of only two troops, Scouting America troops. Troop 73 in Valley Forge is the other one. Troop 58 has been around for 90 plus years, and we are very involved in community service. We plant trees with the borough. We take care of the Veterans Memorial at Reese Park, plus do lots of other things around Phoenixville area. We've actually done stuff at the community founding forward too, for the Medal of Honor Grove. I am also a member of VFW Post 1564 right here in Star Street. So I'm sure I can relay some information to Mr. Mahoney, the commander, any kind of activities that Scouting or VFW could be a part of for the 250-year celebration.
That's awesome. We got a twofer in you, the Scouts and the VFW. This is, if only life could be so easy as to. So thank you for attending. Mayor Pete, sorry, you're the bottom of the little squares there. Can you introduce yourself, please?
No worries. Absolutely. Good afternoon, everyone. And thank you all so much for joining the call today. I apologize. I'm currently in transit, but my name is Peter Urschler, and I'm honored to serve as the mayor of the borough of Phoenixville, and to certainly be on this call with so many friends, old and new.
Thank you. And then I don't want to forget Paige Marsden, who is our great scribe from the Chester County Community Foundation. Could you say hi and introduce yourself?
Hi, everyone. I'm Paige Marsden. I work at the Chester County Community Foundation, mainly on like the TCCF side, but today I'm venturing into our 250 side. So yeah, nice to meet you all.
Awesome, thanks. Well, thank you, everybody. I am so excited for this. I have to say, this is a super cool group. I feel like I've attended some of the other meetings and we are cooler than they are. So thumbs up for Phoenixville. I'm going to show a couple slides now so I can kind of explain what we're thinking and how we're thinking about this. So we're so glad you're here again. We're going to be meeting the fourth Tuesday of every month at 3 p.m. on Zoom, and maybe, you know, over the summer, and actually probably more likely in the fall, we could get together in person so that we can actually see each other. But for now, it's on Zoom to make sure it's easier, especially on a day like today when it's so hot out there. There we go. So I mean, the theme that we're, you know, kind of the overarching theme for America 250 is that we, the people, that we, all of us together who are, you know, American citizens, American residents who have make our country what it is, for us to think again about what does it mean to be an American? What does it mean to live here? The programming that we're thinking about is for everybody, for individuals, families, businesses, scout troops, organizations, social clubs. What each organization or entity decides to do, it can be as individual as having a 4th of July cookout for their family in the park. And you know, maybe they invite others from the outside to much larger things, parades and murals. You guys certainly have plenty of murals in Phoenixville already. But the idea is that we are meeting together as a Phoenixville group to talk about what we want to do. Like Laura said, are there partnering opportunities? Are there businesses that would want to get involved? But it's a chance for us to think about what is it going to be for Phoenixville. Tamala and Mayor Pete have been thinking about it, and it sounds like some of your organizations have been thinking about it too. So we'll be able to, as time goes by, we'll start to share that. We'll bring more people into it. Please invite anybody you know that might be interested in this, religious groups, you name it. Anyone who is interested in commemorating the 250th anniversary of our country is welcome to be here. What we're doing is to put together planning groups. That's us. So as I said, we have these hyper local groups around the county, and to start to meet to think about what do we want. Some of the questions here: what is America 250 about? What are the core values? What themes? Life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. We'll all get together and brainstorm ideas so that, you know, maybe a social club wants to do something, they don't know what they should do. Maybe a business wants to partner with a nonprofit, they don't know what to do. So some examples that we have here that we'll all be talking about over the next couple of months are, you know, tours, speaker series, art contests, taking the festivals that already exist in Phoenixville, for example, and the memorial holidays, and kind of putting a America 250 bent on them. People sharing their stories. One of my favorite ideas is Dare to Declare, which Rose Fennell from Valley Forge Park, this is kind of her brainchild, and we'll hear more about this as the time goes on. But for the idea is that for Dare to Declare, to gather people together and ask for public readings of the Declaration of Independence. To really drive home what it is to be an American. I bought myself all these little constitutions that have the Declaration of, there we go, the Declaration of Independence in them. So even at this early point in time, I suggest all of you, if you get a moment, take a chance to reread the Declaration of Independence, but it's a possible activity. I know that the Colonial is planning a film festival, and they're starting to talk about having essentially a soapbox out in front of their theater on July 4th in 2026 and having a reading of the Declaration of Independence. So there's all different ways to think about what an event could be, what kind of program could be. We're going to work with all of you guys. There's not one of the sad things about America 250 right now across the whole country, and I'm involved with Philadelphia a little bit, is there's not a lot of money that's shaken out from any of the federal, state, or local governments. So a lot of this is we're asking all of our organizations to think through what programming we already do and how we can kind of put an America 250 overlay on it. So if you already have, like the Colonial Theater, I mean, they do film series all the time. So one of their film series is going to be a patriotic commemorative film series. for a window decorating contest at the holidays. If there's a window decorating for the businesses at the winter holidays, maybe around the 4th of July next year, there's a window decorating contest around America 250. So looking at what programming we already do, what activities organizations and people already do, and how to look at it through an America 250 lens. And then we'll start to, kind of pull that together all together and get it all moving forward. It's really exciting. Here's the timeline. One of the exciting things for Chester County, I have to say, as opposed to a lot of the rest of the country, is Chester County, we have 2026, of course, the 250th anniversary of the Declaration of Independence. But in 2027, we'll have the 250th anniversary of the Philadelphia campaign, which of course rolled right through Chester County, the Battle of Brandywine, the Battle of the Clouds, the Paoli Massacre. And then, that later that winter, the Valley Forge encampment. So Chester County is actually going to be able to celebrate these things for 2 years. So we're going to have extra time to get ahead of some of those local commemorations of really the Revolutionary War that happened 250 years ago from 2027. So the Philadelphia campaign, as we think about it, again, in 2027, there is the campaign from the Battle of Brandywine, the Battle of the Clouds, and then, up into Philadelphia and then back to Valley Forge. In Chester County, we have really 3 themes under the Philadelphia campaign. And organizations can follow any theme at all, but this is how the Friends of the America 250 have been thinking about it. We've got in Chester County agricultural bounty, of course, all the farms and all the natural resources. Phoenixville, famous for iron, steel, and industry. And that, I have to say that I've been reading a lot about the Philadelphia campaign, and maybe it's from growing up in this area, but it never dawned on me until last week that Valley Forge was called Valley Forge because there was a forge there. You hear something too often and it doesn't sink in. So with my new, yeah, I'm a history person too, so there's no excuse, but it makes it especially salient thinking about iron, steel, and industry and Phoenixville's history in that area. And then one area that I really love, I love this part of kind of thinking about the commemoration is the unfinished revolution and that path to freedom. So what didn't happen, what was promised in the Declaration of Independence and hasn't happened to this day, or didn't happen immediately, and that would be civil rights, women's suffrage, and certainly much more than that today. So one thing that I really loved about all of this is that there's kind of a theme or an idea for just about any organization, any person, any entity at all to grab hold of. It doesn't have to be a parade with reenactors walking down the street is the only way that we can commemorate America 250. There's lots of ways, lots of viewpoints that that have a place and that we want to make sure there's a place for. So, in the Constitution, in the Declaration of Independence, and the founding of the country, what we're looking at and thinking about is the freedom to express yourself, the right to vote in elections, the right to run for elected office, pursuing that life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness, all these pieces that are the through line from 1776 to today. And that are very salient now. And in Chester County and in Phoenixville, these are all really important and really ongoing questions and ongoing discussions. And so this is a chance for us to really think through what it means to be an American, what it means in Phoenixville, what it means throughout Chester County. It's a really great opportunity, I think, and an exciting opportunity to revisit all this and to start to talk about all of these pieces. So what I'm hoping to do is we have this group together, and I want to open up the conversation a little bit more, but I want to encourage everybody to, now that you're on the list, you'll get invitations to come again, but I'd like to ask you to invite people that you think might be interested in this, because this is one of those critical mass things where we want to make sure that we get a critical mass of Phoenixville together. We want to make sure you guys are leaders in your areas, and you're leaders now in America 250. So we want to make sure that there's that we can bring more and more people into this into this big project for 2026. Does anybody have any first thoughts, anything that jumps out at them as being any that's particularly relevant to Phoenixville, anything that is particularly relevant to you and your organization that you see yourself doing or engaging in or bringing other people into? All right. Well, I mean, a lot of you talked already a little bit about the work that you're planning on doing and some things that are already there. I know we're in the earliest stages of thinking about 2026. I mean, in Phoenixville, what would you guys say? What are there any particular sites or stories in Phoenixville that that are unique to Phoenixville around the Revolutionary War, about those first years? Do you guys know of anything? Like I had my sad latent understanding of Valley Forge. Is there anything you can explain to me about Phoenixville that relates to our revolutionary founding that you think should be highlighted in the town?
One area we might think about is the monument that is there by Pat's Pizza, which was the Fountain Inn, which was the furthest point that the British advanced towards Phoenixville. So possibly something could be done with that. But I know that I don't know. I regret to say I don't know a lot more about it, except that what I've read, in different things with that.
Well, I'm reading a book about the Philadelphia campaign. That was hence my revelation about Valley Forge, and there's some great images of it in that book.
Okay.
And that's a great kind of focal point or a pin in the physical
Sure.
layout of Phoenixville for us to think about. I mean, what does anybody else have any ideas about the I guess the geography of Phoenixville, like that? Any points of interest that are particularly relevant to America 250, to the founding of our country 250 years ago? And then,
Not to speak out of turn, but I know during the initial conversations about Chester County's 250th, like the revolution, the Philadelphia campaign was one aspect, but another aspect was also the iron and steel industry
yeah,
in the local area. And I think Phoenixville would have a lot to do with that. Yeah. I mean, even though the iron and steel industry is not necessarily there anymore, it was a big factor in Phoenixville be existing. So
Sure.
that may be a just as, I would say my advice, my take on it would be, just as we're not going to try to compete with Philadelphia for the actual revolution thing, if we're handling, Valley Forge, we're kind of handling the revolution thing. Phoenixville, this may be an opportunity for you to shine as like, here, let's talk about Phoenix columns and and the 3-pound ordnance rifles and all of that sort of fun stuff as well, and also like how how did our fun little city evolve? So, and I'm also speaking as a Phoenixville resident in this regard as well. So,
Well, but the two things you just mentioned, the Phoenix column and the 3-inch ordnance rifle, were both in the
yeah,
1860s.
yeah. But it's
So
still, it's something that
they're-
throughout the,
they're
just
way
it's
after
something
the
though that
revolution,
throughout the
so-
years, it's, I mean, I don't know, Kim, if you can explain the
Absolutely.
iron and steel
Yeah.
concept.
yeah. Well, that's what I mean. One of the again, Valley Forge, is that there were so many small furnaces throughout the Schuylkill Valley and the Brandywine Valley in the 1700s, and it was an area that George Washington and the American militia and army were trying to protect from the British because of the furnaces. And I mean, the furnaces, we're talking like on a super small scale. My husband gets tortured because I stop at every historic furnace ruin that I see by the side of the road. I'm like, pull over, it's another furnace. That in some places, a furnace might be a couple of smelting ovens, and they were pulling iron ore out of the creek to turn it into metal. And there were lots and lots of those and that's why, I mean, that is why Phoenixville ended up having such a huge iron and steel industry, and it was because of these tiny little furnaces that started up before. I mean, there's like Hopewell furnace and the bigger furnaces. Again, now this is, I can't wait to tell my husband that my furnace knowledge finally came in handy here. But it's for Phoenixville, it really is salient, because what Phoenixville became kind of grew out of that industry that became so critical during the Revolutionary War, and that the US Army was moving around to protect that area. And one of the reasons why George Washington encamped at Valley Forge, not just because it was a high point, and Adam, you know more about this than I do, was to just have eyeballs on all the storehouses and the ironwork in that region. And so I guess maybe that's the through line through history for Phoenixville, is Washington ended up at Valley Forge because of these small scale metalworking operations that culminated in, everything that Phoenixville became.
Can I make a suggestion, Kim? Is
Yeah.
that maybe we don't kind of put bumpers on ourselves so much as that the 250th celebration is only about what happened 250 years ago, but rather it's a celebration of everything that has happened in the past 250 years, and of the things that will continue to happen, as the country continues to grow and continues to improve. So one of the things that I think is important to us at Founding Forward is thinking not so much about specific events or specific things that happen, but thinking about the ideals of the founding of America, the Declaration as an ideal, and how our country has grown from those ideals, the ideals set forth in the Constitution. All of that I think is encompassed in the celebration of 250, even if they didn't happen on July 4th, 1776. And especially for us as a community, right next to Valley Forge, which we know wasn't exactly in 1776, but is incredibly important in our history, of course. I think that if we think about it in a bigger picture, and if we think about celebrating who we are, and not necessarily the exact thing that happened, then that might be a better direction to go as we look to create events and create excitement around the next year and a half or so.
That is so, the past, present, future. I'm looking at Lara Kennedy, Founding Forward. Literally, it's right in the name, Founding Forward.
Yeah, and we just renamed we went through a merger and we renamed and rebranded, and there was a lot of thought that went into the name Founding Forward. That's what we want to stand for.
Well, I love it. And that is what we want to talk about, is the past, but the present, and then the future, on what that, like you said, what that means going forward. I love that you said. I don't even need to try to restate it, because you said it so well. Does anybody else have any thoughts on that, on how because this is a chance for us to kind of to pull different pieces out of it. But I think ultimately the big idea is, what are we? What are our values? What are our ideals? And what do we want to be? Because I can stop at every furnace in the world, but they're all, dead sites at this point. They aren't the future. Yes, JD.
Yeah, so it's possible that maybe during the Dogwood Festival next year that there could be some kind of display or something celebrating the 250th celebration of Chester County. I know this past year on Dogwood Saturday, we celebrated the founding of the U.S. Army, the U.S. Navy, and the U.S. Marines. That was a 250th anniversary of those three organizations founding. So the VFW does a little bit of honor ceremony on Dogwood Saturday. Also on Memorial Day, they do a bit of an honor ceremony. So it's possible that Chester County could be a part of that. And then also Troop 58, in conjunction with the VFW, every year during the week of Flag Day, we have a flag retirement ceremony prior to burning the flags at Valley Forge Fire Company. So I know Mayor Peter was at the one a couple weeks ago that we did. So it's possible that we could make that a larger contingent of people that would attend that. The troops could lead that, and just be more recognition is, it's just honoring the flag during Flag Day and Flag Week and Flag Retirement Ceremony, and then also parts of the things that the Dogwood Festival honors too, because the Dogwood Festival was started right after World War II to honor the service members coming from World War II. And that's where the first dogwood was planted there.
Oh, that's awesome. And those are great opportunities for programming that already happens, but to kind of put America 250 overlay on them, and
Right.
very appropriate too.
And if I may, one of the things you just mentioned about Memorial Day, the Kiwanis Club, which I also wear that hat as a member, has had for 31 years, they've had a Memorial Day celebration with the 4th and 5th graders. Now, this past year, it didn't happen because of some logistics, but that's the first time it hasn't happened. Well, it's only the second time it didn't happen in 2020 either, but for the most part, there is something on Memorial Day at Reeves Park that could be expanded upon very easily.
Awesome. Now, who should be at this meeting right now that isn't? I mean, do you guys know of any entities that I can or should reach out to, or that you can?
The Colonial, I would think.
Yeah, he is. I was surprised he actually didn't show up today, Bob, I think. So they're engaged. Is there anybody else that you guys see as really critical to kind of pulling together?
And I would think that it would be helpful to have some people from like Schuylkill Township, like some of our more municipal people.
That is a great suggestion. Thank you. Because yes, they were not on the list. Any other thoughts on who else might be a good partner here? I reached out to the schools, but sadly it is now June 24th.
I can speak to the schools for a second. I was the National Honor Society advisor at Springford, and I received requests all day, every day from people, including over the summertime, for student volunteers. So if you should be looking for something, because I know the Honor Society kids have to amass quite a few volunteer hours. And along with that, that person could be a good, I don't know who it is, but I could try to find out for you. That person could be a good in with other people, like maybe even like the A-Push teacher, the AP US History teacher, with things. I really like this idea, the Dare to Declare idea. It's like reminds me of something I do in my classroom. And when I think of Phoenixville, I'm an outsider. I apologize to everybody. I'm probably just talking to myself here, but when I think of Phoenixville, I think a lot of like the entertainment. My wife and I were there last weekend for there was an art show, like inviting like in line with the Dare to Declare, like what does the elements of the Declaration of Independence, like what does it mean from an artistic standpoint, whether that's physical arts or musical arts, and kind of embedding that in, every weekend the road is shut down. So there's plenty of room out on the street for this type of stuff. But I would definitely look up the National Honor Society advisor at Phoenixville High School. And I could probably drag some kids in there from my classroom too, from Springford. Just don't be offended that they're wearing Springford stuff.
Well,
Kim, the Equality Alliance too, I just thought of.
thank you. I actually used to work with them when I was at the Fund for Women and Girls.
You mentioned the school district as well. The Memorial Day celebration, it was always done it was a Kiwanis and school district partnership.
Oh, okay.
So.
And then I know, because just thinking, you had actually, Brad, you had mentioned Dare to Declare. One idea that I forget, an early meeting, that somebody came up with the idea of having a poetry slam for the Declaration of Independence, essentially having multiple performers perform or read the Declaration of Independence, and having kind of a competition on who does it I don't, it's hard to even say what would the parameters be, but there's just lots of different ways to think about how to bring that declaration into modern times. Anybody have any other thoughts or ideas?
Just one idea, just hearing all you mentioned, Reeves Park is a very larger facility than even the downtown for people wise. So it might be someplace that we could do a concert series that was patriotic music throughout the summer at different times, and work with the resources of the town so that we didn't have to pay the park rental fees and so forth. But I'm
And
not
actually, and there is, I forget her name. There's someone who is with the concert band.
Chester County Community Band
Yes, thank
is what you're
you.
thinking of. Yeah, so we have an amphitheater sort of on our property. It needs a little love at the moment, so we're working on it.
It's where the
But they
volunteers are
used
from.
to, yeah, they used to perform at that amphitheater. It has like a nice picnic slope in front of it. So we are looking to redevelop that amphitheater. My other hat that I wear is that I run the Brandywine Singers, which is out of Westchester, nonprofit community music ensemble. So we are also working on some sort of recital / concert series idea that is still in fruition. But yes, the Chester County Community Concert Band, her name is Eileen, maybe.
Yeah, she was on an early meeting, so I have her
Right.
contact, and
Her
I know
name
that
is
they're
Leslie Burnick. The Chester County Concert Band. Her name's Leslie Burnick.
Leslie. Oh, right. Oh, okay. Thank you. Great. Because I know on an early meeting, she was saying that they were seeking performing opportunities for 2026.
Well, that would be neat to do, use the Chester County platform and have like every 2 weeks or every month or whatever, somebody perform in like Westchester or founding, I'm not used to it. Freedom's Foundation, founding Fort First, have one. Phoenixville have one. Different places like that throughout but have a whole series of it.
Well, one of the really cool things about the Friends of Chester County America 250 is that we have this fantastic website. And so in the invitation you got, there's links to it. I suggest you go and take a look at it, because we're going to be heavily promoting throughout next year all the programming that all these organizations pull together. We don't have the bandwidth, the staff or nothing to pull things together. We're asking all the entities around the county to do that, but we have the promotional platform. So not only is it going to be on our website, but the county itself, Becky Brain, and they're going to be promoting it, and the Visitors Bureau to a lesser degree are going to be promoting it. So we're going to be a good promotional partner for anything that has to do with America 250. We'll be pushing it out to everybody. So any of your organizations that have any programming at all that's publicly related, that is publicly available, we'll be able to promote for you. And then we do expect there to be a mini grant program for participants in the regional meeting. So Chester County Community Foundation is shaking out some money, not a ton of money, but shaking out some money so that people, entities that are part of these regional meetings are going to be eligible to apply for mini grants. And as someone who has run nonprofits or worked at nonprofits, but any money is good money. If it buys ice cream for the children, like, there you go. That's a good amount of money. So it's we expect to be able to really leverage our larger platform, our county-wide platform and beyond, to make the regional programming in Phoenixville and each of these areas visible to everybody throughout the county and beyond the county. Does anybody have any other thoughts at this moment?
And just I know there was kicking around a lot of ideas for Dare to Declare, and one of the things that I, just to speak for Rose, my boss, with the intent of Dare to Declare, is that really the only thing that like kind of to make it official is you read the whole thing, and whether it's a bunch of poets doing slam poetry and do a rap battling or however they're going to read it, if it's brown cow ice cream on Main Street, like reads it and then everybody gets like a free scoop or whatever. It's totally free form. However you want to do it is the right way to do it. So, and if you feel that it'll be significant, if you feel it'll be meaningful, it'll have some impact, do it. And then, and also just to, not to pull people away from Chester County, but Montgomery County Historic Trap, they've got a scholar there, Emily Sneff, who's been doing a number of like workshops on what is the Declaration of Independence and giving some of the history and the background behind it. She did a series of them in the spring. She's going to be doing some more going into the fall and winter, and reach out to Historic Trap to find out when those are happening. But that's kind of that. If you are interested in being a Dare to Declare, or as Montgomery County is calling it, Houses of Declaration, attend those sessions and know the history and everything behind it. And that may give you sort of like, oh, I want to do it this way and focus on this, or oh, make it fun, make it somber, make it however you want to be. And just the one thing that is the one thing that it is the way that Americans would have experienced the Declaration 250 years ago. Somebody standing there and reading it. So again, don't fret over what surrounds it. It's whatever feels right for you, and that's kind of what this idea was. So it's something that's tailorable to any venue, or whether it's an entire borough or township or whatever, or as small as a private business or something. It can be scaled up or down and is very, very malleable. So just want to put that out there. So
that is such a great point. And we're actually working, the Community Foundation is working with Emily Sneff to put together a resource guide. So if you look on our website, we do have planning guides and resource guides for programming on how to start thinking about all these other things. But the Dare to Declare program itself is going to have a resource guide with kind of like all of the things that you're like an idea machine down there, Adam, with it's like, that's right. Yeah, you read the Declaration of Independence and every kid gets a scoop of ice cream. So thank you for pointing that out, but we'll have more and more information and guides, planning guides available on our website. And if you look on our website, there's a section for each of the areas, and there's a bulletin board. There's a link to a bulletin board, and we're directing local entities there to just start to spitball what you're going to do. If if the Historical Society knows that it's going to have an exhibition, that's a place where, where you guys can start to share what is happening in Phoenixville, and Paige is going to be updating that with some of the notes from this meeting, so that we can all come, people who are not at this meeting this moment, but are from Phoenixville, can kind of get an idea of what else is happening and think through what kinds of partners are available, like Founding Forward. So it's a lot. We got a lot going on. I'm so excited that I'm glad that you were all here. And this was really an interesting and fun conversation about stuff that I really love. And I suspect that most of you love it too, which is why you're here. So are there anybody have any parting thoughts? And we don't need to roll completely to 4 o'clock. Any parting thoughts?
Could you just share contact information?
Yeah.
Like if you could send out an email of everybody's contact information or something, that would be helpful, I think.
Yep, we're going to send out a kind of like a thank you wrap up about this meeting. So we'll have that, and then Paige, you're going to put notes onto that. And I'll send a link out to this too. You're going to be putting notes on that bulletin board on the website?
Yeah, so the notes are there. They're not pretty. I have to like format it because I was just like typing.
Real time.
But you can look at it. It probably doesn't make any sense, but I'm gonna make it look good, and then yeah, they'll be live and you can add to it.
All right, and then again, since you were here, you'll get an invite to our meetings going forward. If you have any thoughts, questions, ideas, feel free to reach out to me or Paige or anybody at the Community Foundation. And I hope to see a bunch of you back next month, and let's try to get more people here and really get this going in Phoenixville. So thank you, everybody, on like the hottest day of the year. At least we're all inside. Stay cool. And hopefully when we meet on the 4th Tuesday of July, it's a little more tolerable for all of us out. Some of us can be out on our decks next time for this meeting. So thanks, everybody. Have a great day. Stay cool. Bye.